Welcome to Epoch News. I'm Tatiana Darzi. Factories that produce face masks have been closing down in China. Much of this is due to price increases and the failure to export masks due to strict requirements from the international community. Several mask production factories have closed down because the manufacturing costs are high and they're unable to produce the product.
Chinese mask factories are closing down. Many netizens and business owners revealed the reasons: rapid expansion, a huge increase in prices of machinery and raw materials, and the inability to export masks after international requirements became stricter. One netizen commented, "Mask factories closed down. Chinese-made masks are worth less than papers. This is the epitome of the bankruptcy of Chinese mask diplomacy." On May 2nd, a mask factory closed down in Anqing City in Anhui Province, and a video of the unmarketable masks piling up in the yard has been circulating online. In fact, as early as April 25th, netizens exposed that the mask factories in Shenzhen are now closed too. Anqing City is a base of the medical masks industry. Netizens exposed that a while ago, hundreds of mask factories were established overnight in Tongcheng County of Anqing. So far, more than 1,000 mask factories stopped their operations. An employee of a mask factory, Mr. Lee, indicated that after the prices of machinery and raw materials increased and the exporting of masks failed due to strict requirements from the international community on quality, many mask factories have closed down.
Right now, you either have no mask machines to purchase or raw materials to buy, and the masks cannot be exported because they do not have the CE or FDA approval. The national demand is high because the price of raw materials is high. The non-woven fabric, which is placed in the middle layer of the mask, now costs more than 700,000 yuan, 99,110 USD per ton. The cost of manufacturing is high, so they are unable to continue producing.
A video dated on April 30th on YouTube shows that a mask factory closed down and the employees went to find jobs at another mask factory without success. Many mask factories have stopped hiring.
我以前在的这个口罩厂没有人了，真的是倒闭了。哎，老板，你这里还要人不要？不要人啊？现在也好多也都停产了哈。哎，老板，你们这里要人不要？不要人啊？
It is wrong that everybody went straight ahead to produce face masks. The real medical face masks need to be produced in a sterile environment, and it is totally irresponsible to sell masks that are produced in regular factories or in garages. Therefore, some masks are not selling and the production stopped. As a result, factories closed down.
A tweet from @goodrick8964 commented, "At first, China fooled the world with its masks. Now that the US became self-sufficient and Taiwan was able to export masks, the pandemic has eased. China's massive production capacity was completely abandoned. The price of greed."
A U.S. State Department official is calling for transparency and openness from the Chinese Communist Party. He's also calling them out for spreading a lot of disinformation. During an interview, he stated that the regime hasn't allowed any credible scientists, doctors, or investigators to enter the Wuhan lab or the seafood market to look into the origin of the virus.
U.S. State Department spokesperson Morgan Ortagus expressed during a Bill Hemmer Reports Fox News interview on April 29th that currently no credible scientists, doctors, or investigators have yet entered the Wuhan lab or the seafood market to investigate the origins of the virus. Ortagus called for transparency and openness from the CCP to the international community.
If they want to be transparent, they can simply start by giving us the correct data and by opening up the country, not just to the United States, but to the world, to credible doctors from around the world.
Ortagus also reprimanded CCP officials for spreading disinformation.
We get a lot of disinformation, Bill, that you see from Chinese Communist Party officials.
During a recent Voice of America interview, Ortagus said that the CCP's ban on Twitter abridged the Chinese people's freedom of speech. Zhao Lijian and other CCP officials, meanwhile, used Twitter to spread false information from the regime.
But the disinformation that we were seeing from party officials was so egregious, we really felt the need to call it out.
In an April 30th post on Twitter, Ortagus further emphasized Secretary Pompeo's warning the previous day to the CCP. Pompeo tweeted that the United States has been seeking information about the origins of COVID-19 and called on the CCP to be transparent and cooperative.
Nigeria is demanding compensation from China due to the CCP virus. The Chinese embassy in Nigeria will be receiving the demand. Also, a German newspaper published a bill calling for the German government and the European Union to secure compensation from Beijing.
During the White House coronavirus press meeting on April 27th, a reporter said that a majority of polls show Americans blame the CCP for the spread of the coronavirus, yet they're taking advantage of the virus to make the world more dependent on China's supply chains. The president was asked on how he plans to hold China accountable.
There are a lot of ways you can hold them accountable. We're doing very serious investigations, as you probably know, and we are not happy with China. We are not happy with that whole situation because we believe it could have been stopped at the source, it could have been stopped quickly, and it wouldn't have spread all over the world, and we think that should have happened.
Earlier this month, Bild, the largest German newspaper, had published a bill that called for the German government and the European Union to secure a compensation of 149 billion euros, the equivalent of $163 billion, from Beijing, as the cost of the virus to various sectors within the German economy. President Trump was asked during the press briefing that if his administration is planning on doing the same. President Trump expressed there are many ways on doing that.
And we're talking about a lot more money than Germany's talking about, yeah. We haven't determined the final amount yet.
Thank you, Mr. President.
It's very substantial. If you look at the world, I mean, this is worldwide damage. This is damage to the U.S., but this is damage to the world.
As the coronavirus spread makes its way to Africa, Nigeria is also taking its first shot at demanding compensation. According to a Nigerian news report from Daily Post on April 26th, a group of Nigerian lawyers is preparing their suit that demands a compensation of $200 billion from the CCP over the effects of the coronavirus outbreak. The group of lawyers plans to first go to the Federal High Court of Nigeria, and second, to persuade the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to institute a state action against the People's Republic of China at the International Court of Justice at The Hague. The Embassy of the People's Republic of China in the Federal Republic of Nigeria will be receiving the plaint. Last week, the Australian government called for WHO to support an investigation over the origin and the spread of the CCP virus. However, the Chinese ambassador to Australia, Cheng Jingye, threatened that Australia's push for an independent investigation could result in Chinese consumers rejecting Australian products or even stop them from studying or traveling to Australia.
The government has made our displeasure with those remarks known. Our policy positions are clear. They're based on public health principles. The least the world can expect is a transparent inquiry into the causes of COVID-19 so that we can understand how best to prevent a repeat episode anytime in the future.
Australian Foreign Minister Maurice Payne issued a statement on April 27th that the CCP should not have resorted to the means of economic coercion. The CCP's threats have also drawn backlash from the government, the people, and the academia, who have voiced their support to the Australian government over the investigation of the CCP.
Hundreds of mainland Chinese citizens have come together to petition authorities to release Huang Qi, the founder of the human rights news website 64 Tianwang. The petition asks for Huang Qi to see his 87-year-old mother for the last time before she passes away from a terminal illness.
Continuing news from China. Huang Qi, the founder of the human rights news website 64 Tianwang, was sentenced to 12 years in prison last year. Currently, his 87-year-old mother is terminally ill. She hopes to see her son at least one more time before she passes away. Despite the risk, hundreds of mainland Chinese citizens have joined a petition for authorities to release Huang Qi so that mother and child can see each other one last time. On April 30th, Huang Qi's mother, Pu Wenqing, requested through telephone that authorities investigate the truth about the case against Huang Qi and give him a fair trial. Pu Wenqing also posted a statement online, the last confession of Huang Qi's mother, stating that she is suffering from a variety of illnesses and cancer has spread throughout her body. Her greatest hope has always been to see her son again in this lifetime, but she knows the chances are slim.
The more important thing is that after I leave, I hope you guys will take good care of my son. My son is around. He was wrongly convicted by the Mianyang District Court, overturned the judgment.
Ever since her son was imprisoned in 2016, Huang Qi, despite illness, has traveled around to advocate for her son's release and tried numerous methods to see him, all in vain. Even phone calls between the two are banned. Starting April 29th, some people initiated a joint signing on WeChat, urging authorities to release Huang Qi and allow mother and son to meet. Hu Guiqin, a co-signer, said that by that afternoon, 110 people had already signed the petition.
Huang Qi has helped a lot of people. He's not anti-party or anti-China. He just wants the best for the country and for society. He wants safety for all people. However, the government does not act. The government does not want to solve the problems brought up by petitioners. Huang Qi thinks only of the country and wants society to be harmonious. He demanded that some problems should be solved. As a result, the government seeks to control him.
Ms. He, an activist from Chongqing, said that many people have received help from Huang Qi. Huang Qi spoke for those who did not have a voice before he went to prison. She hopes that the international media will also help Huang Qi and his mother in their appeal.
Huang Qi's mother is in poor health. As a mother, I hope she is able to see her son before death. This is also the law. The law allows for visitation rights. As an ordinary person seeing this situation, I'm very sympathetic to their plight and hope that the elderly mother will get her wish.
Ms. He says that Huang Qi's mother has been under surveillance and is not able to go about freely. Now her cancer has spread, but she is still waiting for admission to the hospital. Ms. He is worried that Huang Qi's mother will not live long enough to be hospitalized. The tragedy that has befallen Huang Qi and his mother has garnered many people's attention. Lawyers in mainland China have urged authorities to arrange a meeting between mother and child based on humanitarian concerns, and based on Huang Qi's physical condition, consider carrying out his sentence outside of prison. Huang Qi founded the 64 Tianwang website in 1999 to expose corruption and human rights violations, as well as discuss other sensitive issues occurring among Chinese Communist Party officials. As a result, he was brutally persecuted and sentenced twice to 8 years in prison. In 2016, Huang Qi was arrested again. In July 2019, he was charged with deliberately leaking state secrets and sentenced to 12 years in prison.
A recording of a local health official revealed that a large amount of data is being manipulated to monitor and control citizens. There is a secret list of people considered to be high risk of infection that was compiled by the central government in China. Even the local authorities seem not to be aware of this list.
Even though we haven't seen many reports about the pandemic from Beijing, the regime has been on high alert regarding the spread of the CCP virus. A recent recording of a local health official returning a phone call to a resident revealed how large amounts of data are being manipulated to monitor and control citizens during the outbreak. Ms. Liu of Chaoyang City, Beijing, had just given birth to a baby. The authorities notified her that she was designated a close contact of someone infected and was now under mandated quarantine. After many phone calls, Ms. Liu could not get official confirmation of her status. She filed a complaint to the local health center. On February 14th, a phone call between Ms. Liu and the director of a local health center revealed that there was a secret list of people considered to be at high risk of infection. This list, which local officials were unaware of, had been compiled by the central government.
Hello, this is the health center calling regarding your complaint and inquiry about the list of people in close contact with an infected person.
Right. Let me clarify. I've reported my temperature to the hospital every day, but your staff told me that I must be quarantined because I was in close contact with an infected person. I recently had a baby. Your claim that I was a close contact surely made me worried. So I checked the so-called national data but was not on the list of close contacts. That's why I called your center and was again told that I was designated close contact category D. That's it. There's no further explanation. My husband called the center again but didn't get any more information.
I understand. First of all, since you just gave birth to a baby, we will not ask you to go to a quarantine center. You can just stay home and conduct self-isolation. As for the close contact list, I called the Beijing CDC and consulted various contacts. I learned that there is a data mining system in the CDC and that local relevant authorities compile the list of close contacts of those infected. In short, a close contact. But there's also another system that no one knows how or when it is compiled. It's kept secret from the local authorities and CDC. Let me make it clear that you are not a close contact, but a person at high risk. That could mean that you were at the hospital, right? So that's one thing we know for sure. Therefore, you are on the list of people at high risk, but are regulated according to the rules for the close contact list. Our staff did not understand this at all. That's why they could only tell you that you're considered a close contact, but this fact would make you nervous.
Yes, I was really frightened. I have not contacted anyone else. I hope you'll understand that it's really scary, especially since I just had my baby.
Right, I understand. But please also understand that we were given this list and it's part of our job to ensure it's been taken care of. Let me put it this way. I am a deputy director of this health center, yet the secret list was quite strange to me. I called 7 or 8 different places and also recorded some of the conversations because I wanted to be sure that what I relayed to you is correct. It took me a long time to get the information so that I could return your call.
I appreciate your help.
According to the UN Economic Commission for Africa, at least 300,000 Africans would die due to the CCP virus pandemic, while 29 million people will be pushed toward extreme poverty. Most of the African countries have already mandated social distancing measures, curfews, travel guidelines, and in a few countries, full lockdowns.
The COVID-19 pandemic will likely kill at least 300,000 Africans and risks pushing 29 million into extreme poverty, a United Nations agency said on Friday. The UN Economic Commission for Africa, known as the UNECA, is calling for a $100 billion safety net for the continent. But the head of the United Nations said much more was needed. Although Africa's 54 countries have so far reported fewer than 20,000 confirmed cases, the World Health Organization warned on Thursday that Africa could see as many as 10 million cases in 3 to 6 months. Most of Africa has already mandated social distancing measures, ranging from curfews and travel guidelines in some countries to full lockdowns in others. But combating the disease is complicated by the fact that 36% of Africans have no access to household washing facilities. The continent also counts just 1.8 hospital beds per 1,000 people, and it imports 94% of its pharmaceuticals. The health crisis could also shrink the continent's economy, pushing tens of millions of people into extreme poverty. Nigeria alone will lose up to around $19 billion in revenues from oil exports this year.
New York City Metropolitan Transportation Authority workers were seen disinfecting trains during the CCP virus pandemic on May 4th. New York City's subway, the ear-splitting, nerve-jangling system that New Yorkers and tourists alike love to hate, is taking the unprecedented step of halting overnight service in order to clean train cars, a likely prelude to bigger changes as the largest U.S. mass transit system works to rebound from a pandemic that has slashed ridership. The subway system, whose more than 600 miles of tracks crisscross 4 of New York's 5 boroughs, will close between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. beginning May 6 to allow crews to disinfect the cars each night to prevent further spread of the novel CCP virus, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said last week. The city's buses will also be cleaned every night, he said. Commuter advocates and transit experts saw the move, the first for a subway system known for its round-the-clock service, as signaling a period of sweeping change for the MTA, the state-controlled agency that oversees a system that until recently carried more than 5 million passengers a day. New York City has been the nation's epicenter in the pandemic, with more than 170,000 CCP virus cases and more than 13,000 deaths, according to its health department. The following charts will show you the most recent numbers regarding the CCP virus pandemic. However, China and Iran are not included because their numbers are unverifiable. We've been mentioning the many losses in the world caused by the Chinese Communist Party's cover-up of the CCP virus. Till today, with over 3.5 million people infected, China is still defensive about independent international inquiry into the origin and spread of the CCP virus. The Epoch Times has initiated a global Sign the Petition campaign calling for investigating, condemning, and rejecting the CCP. We believe that investigating and exposing the truth is the only way that we can remain safe. Let's take action. Sign the petition at ccpvirustruth.com. That's all for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this program with friends and family to keep them informed about the latest news and updates. Thank you for joining me. See you next time.